"Can I take the leftovers for my daughter?" The biker's reaction left the whole diner silent. The rain poured heavily that evening, washing the streets in streaks of silver and gray. Inside a small roadside diner, the clinking of plates and low hum of chatter filled the air. It was the kind of place where truckers, travelers, and locals all came to warm up with a cup of coffee and a plate of comfort food. But that night, something unforgettable happened, something that none of the customers would ever forget. At a corner booth sat a young woman named Rachel. Her uniform was worn, her hands rough from work, and her eyes carried the exhaustion of someone fighting hard to hold life together. She had just finished a long day at the nearby laundry shop and had barely enough left in her wallet to order a small meal. She sat alone, eating slowly, almost guiltily, because she wasn't really hungry. She had someone else in mind. Her daughter, Lily, was waiting at home, a bright-eyed 6-year-old who hadn't had a proper dinner in 2 days. Rachel had promised she'd bring something home tonight, even if it was just leftovers. As she took the last few bites of her sandwich, she hesitated before raising her hand to the waitress and softly asking, "Excuse me, can I take the leftovers home? They're for my daughter." Her voice trembled with a mix of embarrassment and hope. She wasn't asking for charity, just for the food she had already paid for. The diner went quiet. At the counter, a group of loud bikers who had been laughing and joking among themselves suddenly stopped talking. One of them, a tall man with a rough beard, tattoos winding down his arms, and a black leather jacket, looked over. His name was Jack. He was the kind of man most people avoided, his tough appearance intimidating enough to make others lower their eyes. The waitress nodded awkwardly and took Rachel's plate to pack the leftovers. But one of the younger waiters, trying to impress his co-workers, muttered under his breath, "She probably just wants free food." A few people at nearby tables chuckled quietly. Rachel froze. Her face burned with shame. Before she could say anything, Jack pushed back his chair with a loud scrape. The sound echoed through the diner. Everyone turned. He stood up, his towering frame casting a shadow over the booth. The air grew thick with tension. Rachel lowered her eyes, afraid he was about to say something cruel too, but instead, Jack walked over, slowly, purposefully, and stopped beside her table. He looked down at her for a moment, then turned to the waiter. His voice was deep and steady. "Did I just hear you right?" The waiter swallowed hard, unsure how to respond. Jack's tone wasn't angry, it was controlled, but it carried power. "You think a mother asking to take leftovers for her kid is funny?" No one spoke. The laughter died instantly. Jack reached into his jacket, pulled out his wallet, and placed a $100 bill on the table. "You know what?" he said, looking around at everyone in the diner. "Pack her a hot meal. No, make it 2. And bring one of your best desserts for her little girl." Rachel's eyes widened. She tried to protest, her voice trembling. "No, sir, please, I can't," but Jack shook his head gently. "You're not taking charity, ma'am. You're taking dinner home to your kid. That's what good parents do." The waitress quickly nodded, tears in her eyes as she rushed to the kitchen. The entire diner was silent now, every customer frozen in a mix of shame and admiration. The same people who had laughed a moment ago couldn't even look up from their plates. Rachel's hands trembled as she whispered, "Thank you. You don't know what this means." Jack gave a small smile. "I do," he said quietly. "I was raised by a single mom. I remember nights when she went hungry so I could eat. You remind me of her." When the food came, warm, wrapped, and neatly packed, Rachel clutched the bags as though they were treasures. Jack paid the entire bill for the diner that night, told the staff to keep the change, and before leaving, he turned back one last time. "Next time you see someone struggling," he said to the room, "think before you judge. You never know the battles they're fighting." The door swung open as he stepped into the rain, the sound of his motorcycle engine roaring to life outside. For a few moments, no one spoke. Then, slowly, the young waiter who had mocked Rachel whispered, "I'm sorry." She nodded gently, tears streaming down her cheeks, not out of sadness, but gratitude. When Rachel got home that night, Lily ran to her arms. "Mommy! You brought dinner," she squealed with joy. Rachel set the food on the table, her heart full for the first time in months. She looked out the window, the sound of rain still echoing in her ears, and whispered softly, "Thank you, whoever you are." Somewhere down the road, Jack rode through the storm, his thoughts quiet but his heart lighter. He didn't do it for thanks. He did it because once, long ago, someone had shown him the same kind of kindness when he needed it most. Sparkle's inspiring message: never be quick to judge those who ask for little. They might be carrying burdens heavier than you can imagine. Sometimes, the smallest act of compassion can restore someone's faith in humanity. Be kind, because you never know whose story you're walking past.